The following is an excerpt from a longer conversation between my son, Ben Wagner, and me on May 10th, 2020. Enjoy.
Well, I do want to touch on that for a second because I feel like the 5G thing got really, it almost got like a smear campaign on it. And I could see why. But that was really what sparked the avalanche of accounts and videos starting to be deleted off of YouTube. Was that there was a couple of individuals really that got really a lot of views from some interviews, and he was talking about 5G and the effects on oxygen and the body at certain frequencies, and that the symptoms of these effects are similar to the symptoms listed of COVID. Flu-like symptoms, basically, are what some of these 5G, like people that are living around them, have been describing flu-like symptoms, and they're associating it with the 5G frequencies that are coming out of these towers. So immediately, all of a sudden, you started seeing, oh, conspiracy theories say 5G is causing coronavirus, right? And it's totally not what the guy was even saying.
Well, the Russians apparently took that and ran with it. They're the ones that started really promoting conspiracy theories in the United States and in Europe about 5G networks, and those two of the ones that they were promoting the most were that 5G radiation, or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it.
Well, it's
waves.
Electromagnetic frequency and electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah, that causes, one of the ones that they passed around was that it causes coronavirus, and another one that they passed around was that it made it spread.
Right.
And they were doing this and actually this was an article that Mike wrote in one of his tech magazines, was that they deliberately spread it because they're putting 5G towers all over Russia, and they think it's going to give them a leg up over Europe and the United States, and they want to discourage it in Europe and the United States. So they've gone on this campaign of creating conspiracy theories in the EU and in the US, to hopefully to slow us down, or actually just not put up any 5G towers so they'd have the advantage.
Wait a minute. Does that make sense to you though? If you think about it, wouldn't some of that come back to bite them in the ass? Like if they're the ones that are like installing.
Well, they have 5G control. Yeah, they have control over their media.
Yeah, but okay, just as much as we do.
No, they have real control over their media. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if that was truly the case, just think of it like this: if that was truly the case, if they were spreading this, you can't just say, okay, we're gonna spread it in America and it will stay in America. Some of it's gonna get leaked out. There's Russians in America. There's Russians living in America. Right. You don't think they're gonna call back home and be like, hey, I heard 5G is causing coronavirus? Like some people in Russia are gonna hear about that shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Right? They can't do anything about it. The Russian government is totally in control.
Okay, but at the same time, there might be some small pockets of like, whoa, what are we doing if this is the case?
Sure, and then they end up in Siberia.
Right, and then they end up in prison or whatever. but at the same time, that doesn't. I don't know. That it almost seems counterproductive, because it's like, how big of an advantage is it to have your 5G towers up a month before the UK?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Apparently they're doing it, and they've specifically targeted and helped the Not in My Backyard movement. Those people that they don't want nuclear power plants in their backyard. They don't want this or that. And so they've fed them these conspiracy theories, and those groups in the United States have taken it and run with it. You know,
the thing that bothers me about how coronavirus got linked to 5G is that I actually think there is some sincere dangers with 5G.
there may
I think that there
well
is
be.
actually
Yeah.
science. I think there's actually scientific papers that you can find. They're not easy to find because if you think about all the telecommunications companies, Verizon, AT&T, these major billion-dollar corporations, when you search for anything 5G on Google or Bing or anywhere, like some of the things that pop up first are Verizon fucking articles and shit. So they're doing a real good job of trying to tell everyone how safe it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you can actually find some scientific papers, and maybe I'll try and find some for you to send them to you. But I mean, and I found some videos of just really geeky, nerdy, smart ass fucking nerds basically on YouTube talking about the electromagnetic fields and electromagnetic radiation and the effects that are proven to be caused by, because first of all, one of the biggest misconceptions about 5G is that it's like a specific frequency, and it's a range of frequencies. It's 5G merely stands for fifth generation. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean like 5G wave. That doesn't mean anything. 5G is literally just the fifth iteration of these radio waves. And there was a lot of hoopla about 4G, and there's been some pretty convincing evidence that, you know, using a cell phone up next to your brain can cause fucking problems. Like, why wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Not
like,
just a cell phone,
like
but also these Bluetooth devices.
Yeah, of course. We are electricity. You know, our bodies. Every single thing. This is one thing that I liked about that Elon Musk interview, was when he was talking about the Neuralink. He's like, every single thing that we experience through our five senses is an electrical signal. That's what it is. It's electric signals to your brain.
Right.
Interpreting the world around you. It's literally an electric signal. So why would we think that having these extremely powerful towers, and the thing that sucks to me about 5G is that you have to have them every like 200 yards because they're short wavelengths.
Yeah.
And it's like, so they're going to literally have to be blanketed, kind of like how we used to have telephone poles. They're going to have to be everywhere.
That'll be ugly. And
they're extremely powerful. I mean, they're faster than our cable internet.
Wow.
How are we gonna assume that that's not gonna cause some fucking issues? Like, that seems almost naive to the point of absurdity to think that that's not an issue. When you think that a human body and the human brain literally is
affected by that?
A conglomeration of electric signals.
Yeah,
and now you're putting this extremely high, powerful electromagnetic ray. I mean, there's some compelling evidence as to what that's causing a lot of the problems with the bees and the hive, just the colony
collapse
disintegration.
Disorder.
Yeah, man. Like, so I found it kind of interesting how not only was it immediately distorted to say that coronavirus is being caused by 5G, this stupid conspiracy theory, and gave it basically clout to remove almost any video on YouTube that contains the words 5G and coronavirus. So they have an AI. They have AI that can go through videos, because you can detect audio. That's how they find copywritten material, where if you post something that has music that's copywritten, it'll immediately say you can't use that, because they can literally comb through, send the spiders through YouTube and find videos. And so they can basically put in keywords like that, 5G, coronavirus. And if that is a video, and if it has enough views, they've deleted it. And so I find that a little suspicious. And I find that a little bit more giving clout almost to the fact that 5G might actually not be very safe. But because there's so much money invested in this technology, that the powers that be, it's kind of like the oil companies. They don't want you to know about cars that run on water. They don't want you to know about all this other shit. Or tobacco companies, they don't want you to know how it causes cancer. They're going to put out as much disinformation out there as possible so that you don't even know what's true anymore.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're deleting all these videos, I think that was one of the main issues I had with the whole censorship of it was, first of all, it was under false pretense because they were basically saying that these conspiracy theories said that the coronavirus is being caused by 5G. Because even Joe Rogan posted something where he was like, dude, if 5G is causing coronavirus, why is it in 160 countries and 5G is only in 5? He's like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. Like, I think Joe Rogan was just like, dude, shut the fuck up about this shit. But that to me, I'm sitting over here kind of like looking at it from a bird's eye view, being like, that's not even what they were talking about. But now everyone thinks that that's what they're talking about. And I was like, how an easy way for them to spread that disinformation about what they're saying is disinformation, in order to push through what they want, which is this technology. And if you think about it, if all of our phones are hooked up on 5G, right? Who stands to benefit from that? Who stands to benefit from these
YouTube
blazing fast interspeed? YouTube and Google. Those are the big ones, because think of how many more ads
and
they can load.
Netflix.
Think of all of those things that they can load faster.
Yeah.
Think like if your speed is 3 times as fast, that's 3 times as many ads that you're going to be able to see because it's that much faster.
Yeah.
So that, to me, doesn't seem that much of a conspiracy theory as much as
a suspicion is what it is.
A corporation wanting to push through this technology for financial gain.
Right.
And obviously they're pissed off because their towers are getting burned down, and that's more money lost. So they're going to just censor all of this information. What if it's true? What if the 5G is a danger to our bodies and to other organisms?
Well, are there other videos that are just about the danger of 5G and they're just removing the ones that say that it causes coronavirus? Because that would be a legitimate thing to remove. It doesn't cause coronavirus.
Yeah. And even the videos where they're not saying it's causing it, it's just if those 2 words are used in the same video, they're deleting these videos basically, as many as they can find.
But there are other videos though that are just talking about the dangers of 5G, and those are still up, right? Is that?
Yes, those are still up. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah. Then it's not a pure censorship.
It's not purely censorship. They're just trying to.
They're going out of their way to make sure that people are not disseminating dangerous or damaging information about coronavirus. I know that they're doing it really.
5G? What if 5G is causing corona-like symptoms?
Right. That would be worth saying somewhere.
Well, that would be worth looking into at least, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just deleting any video that even mentions that 5G can cause flu-like symptoms, and you're deleting these videos like that,
that's a good point.
That seems kind of shady.
Like they've gone too far. Yeah.
A little, maybe. Well, why? But in a way, it like gives it clout, in my opinion. It's like whenever there's censorship about something, unless it's just completely absurd or racist or just inflammatory or hate speech or anything like that, if it isn't any of those obvious, like, okay, like, you know, drinking too much water is going to give you AIDS. Okay. Like if there is not obvious, like, disinformation in those videos, if somebody is literally talking about the science behind 5G and what the radio waves are, and how some studies have shown that it's having these adverse effects on people's lungs because it has an adverse effect on the oxygen at certain frequencies. And there was some really weird concerns about people coming into the hospital with these effects that seemed like altitude sickness, and doctors weren't even really sure how it was being caused. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
Remember hearing about that? There was a couple of cases, I think it might have been in New York, where there was literally doctors being like, their symptoms and what's happening inside their lungs is conducive with altitude sickness.
Weird.
And they were like, well, this is corona, and then they test them and they have coronavirus. So they're saying that these are so basically they're drawing the conclusion that whatever this person's symptoms are, and then they test positive for coronavirus, that it must be caused by coronavirus. But what if it's not? What if we're actually getting all of these extra cases of coronavirus in these cities like Italy, in the UK, New York, where there is actually some 5G stuff installed already? What if these are being caused by 5G? But because, and they've already proven that the tests for coronavirus are incredibly inaccurate. In some cases, they've said up to 80% false positive. That's not even a test,
Right?
Like
It doesn't
if
tell you
80% of the time, like it's almost telling you might not have it if you test positive. So,
Yeah.
so that's the concern I see in terms of the censorship, and sort of no one necessarily coming out to disprove it, but just deleting it.
Right. That's very reasonable.
That seems like a bridge too far, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like a
I agree.
smokescreen, and that the more people should probably be looking into it. I don't know.
I imagine there are people looking into it right now. That's exactly the kind of thing that somebody would want to do a scientific study on.
I'll see. I did watch a few videos, and I'll send them to you, and you can see if that makes sense to you. I mean, it just seems like there is some science to back up the fact that, and don't get me wrong, like I want 5G. Like I would love to have a phone that has faster internet and download speeds than my house Wi-Fi.
I don't really like the idea of towers everywhere, though.
No, I don't either.
Sounds ugly.
Like having like one every other block.
Yeah, yuck.
Yeah, man.
I just saw this thing today. I was just trying to find out why you have to keep rebooting a router, and my internet is doing better, by the way. I got on there, took, I don't know, 3 hours of my day to get on it with the, tech support with CenturyLink, and they talked me through doing some things, and my internet is definitely faster. But the tech support lady was helping me. She said, and from now on, you should, reboot it every other day or so, like unplug it for 10 seconds and plug it back in. And I'm like, why? Does everybody have to do this? Why would you have to do that? She said it just refreshes it and it does better, right? So I got on YouTube last night and I found a bunch of videos that were about why you have to do that, and it does. It's kind of like how computers used to, like, if you turn them on, or if you didn't turn them off, you just kept using them for days at a time, they would accumulate kind of leftover data in the RAM, and eventually your computer would start to slow down, and then you'd reboot it, it'd be all refreshed again. Well, apparently that's true with routers also. They're constantly doing things, and they have a RAM, and it slowly fills up, and also they said that it's accumulating all these numbers, these IP numbers for the different devices you have and stuff like that, and sometimes it can start confusing them and stuff like that. So anyway, if you unplug it and plug it back in, it works better. And so anyway, it was kind of interesting. But one of the things they said is that there's other devices in your house that interfere with the signal from your router,
right?
Like your phone, and I think
2.4 gigahertz
microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway, it kind of was I guess a reminder that we're just being in this apartment. I'm being bombarded by waves of different kinds that are interfering with each other,
all
and then
the
routers of the people living next door are interfering with my router, and and so on. Like we're just being constantly bombarded.
The guy across the street watching porn, like that electrical signal is going through your apartment.
I'm being bombarded by porn waves.
You're being bombarded by porn waves, bro.
I need a shower, man. I feel dirty.
Think of how many porn videos are circulating your apartment on any given hour.
Oh man. Oh, I just saw the time. I should probably.
You should go.
Yeah, I should get off. I do need to take a shower, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna
Not
say I
just
could
because
almost
of
smell you from here.
that.
Okay, that's our podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. You can find out about our other podcasts at theatombomb.org. This is Adam Lee Kahn on The Atom Bomb.